Coach, you seem to have settled in quite well based on the two matches that we've seen. But unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it and which side you look at it, it looks like the derby will be one big test. Looking, like I said, looking at how you hit the ground running. How are your preparations and how do you look at your 24 hours, like you said earlier on?
Yeah, preparations is very little, very little, because we played last night and we beat Cape Town Spurs in a very difficult game sometimes, in a lot of moments, but preparation thus far, I mean, if you talk about preparation, then we only allowed our team to go home last night at 12 o'clock because we were busy with recovery, we were busy with regeneration, we were busy with a lot of things as far as the players are concerned. And so we made sure that they are well massaged, well looked after, eat properly, and then we allow them to go home. Today you see some of them are here, but the rest are resting. So we meet them again today and we meet them again tomorrow for a little walkthrough and make sure that we keep the energy levels up where it is. And we make sure that the energy levels are so that come Saturday, they're able to go out and put up a good performance with the tactics that we think we can beat our opponent at. But at the same time, we also know that our opponent has prepared for us. So we got to look at it both ways. And like it's been rolling for us in the last 6 games, yeah, maybe Chiefs can do the 7th one. So we're hoping that those are things that can come about for us on Saturday. But most importantly, is last night we played in a stadium with nothing, with no supporters. But the players really put on a good shift. And yes, there were lapse of moments. We conceded 2 goals, very silly goals. But I'm thinking that come Saturday, we're praying, it's our home game. We have 40,000 of those supporters all belonging to Kaizer Chiefs. And they can be the 13th man on the field and push us in order for us to go further and really feel that 13th man. Because in the past, yes, there's been some disagreements between the 13th man and the technical staff, but we hope to have changed that, hope to turn that around and put it onto the Kaizer Chiefs way. And when that happens, then I think you will see a better Kaizer Chiefs going forward, because if that happens, then we just have a lot more to work on in order to make this crop of player or this generation of player be a better football player for South Africa.
What is it that you found at Kaizer Chiefs, Coach, that made you say the Chiefs' way is still possible?
I found one of the biggest men in the world, and that's Kaizer Town. One of the biggest chairmen, one of a man that I think should walk with presidents, because there's not a team in the world that is owned by one man and has a village or a cloth that he has spread over these years like him. When you look at the Kaizer Chiefs way, when you look at from the time he played to the time he had Asen Suleng in his team, to the time he had Dr. Kumalo in his team, all those players, they all play the Chiefs way, and that is because of him. So for me, that's what I found when I entered the Chiefs village.
Let's take it to the field.
So I'm saying, let's take that same generation to the field and build that generation, carry on building that generation.
Coach, since you appointed over the last while, you have spoken very highly of the club, of the chairman, of all that to say. I don't want to check, is Chiefs maybe a club that, since you were young, you always admired? I don't want to say support, but is that the brand or the club that you've always had a soft spot for?
No, it's not. It's not a club I've always had a soft spot for. It's because I've always studied their history, and I've always looked at what they do outside of football and inside of football. And when you're a coach like me, I did not tend to have any favorites when I was growing up. I stopped coaching, I stopped being a supporter the day I started coaching. I stopped being a supporter of any club the day I started coaching, because I always said that I have to pay attention to the history of a lot of clubs around the world. And that's what I done. That's why at the School of Excellence we produce so many professional players, because I was not a Kaizer Chiefs or a Pirates or a Manchester United fan. I was a football fan. And that gave us the platform to build the next generation. And when I see Kaizer Chiefs now, and I see what the chairman has done before, then this has been in my eyes, or this has been something that had to be bigger than Boca Juniors. It had to be bigger than Al Ahly. It had to be bigger than Manchester United. And that's what I want.
The trajectory of your career has seen you become a disruptor to these big clubs. When you were at Platinum Stars, you used to give Chiefs, Pirates a goal everywhere you went. How different is it being on the inside now? Because you used to plot and plan against these clubs. Now you're on the Chiefs bench having to plot against Pirates. How different is that, coach?
I don't think it's any different. It's like I said, when you work for somebody like at Platinum Stars or at Amazulu or something like that, you work and you give your heart to football. And that's what I've always done at any club. When I work for you, I give you my heart. I try and do everything I possibly can with the staff I have as clean as possible in order to win the game. And that's what I always do, wherever I work.
Have you been able to catch your breath though? You went from being technical advisor at La Masia to technical to head of youth to head coach within a matter of less than 2 months.
Oh yeah, I was at home for a long time, huh? So there was no breath catching. It was just a breath of fresh air.
Coach, I'm looking at at this tip. It's called a temporary position. Now that they said they're still looking for a coach, but how does it sit then with you, knowing that depending on the results that you'll be acquiring, you might be tempted to say to them, let's go on and take it from where we've been?
I think it goes down to myself and the chairman and his directors taking a private conversation and saying, let's take this team a little bit forward and we'll see what happens. To answer the question outright, I don't think I can do that now.
Coach, Wesley, I mean, you're highly experienced then. You don't expect you to be scared and stuff like that. But deep inside, how do you feel approaching your first Soweto Derby? Because it can be quite a big occasion for a man of experience.
Yeah, in one moment I think it does. It's normal. Derbies are derbies. They always come with a lot of expectations from either the home team or the away team, depending on which one is on a high. I think both Pirates and Chiefs are not really at their best in relation to South African football. They're not in their best, but this will always be it. I take myself back to watching a derby in Brazil with 150,000 people in the stand, and as a coach, I could feel the vibration of the supporters. And probably come Saturday, it's going to be exactly the same. It's going to take me back to those days. So I have that experience to feel that, but to feel it as a coach, it's neither here nor there for me, because I do my work before the game, and when the whistle goes, it's 11 versus 11. They have to go out there and do the best. And we as technical people pray that whatever we prepared for is carried out. Otherwise, you've got to change the tactics within the game in order for you to maybe win the game or score another goal. So those are the things that the crowd doesn't affect if you're strong mentally. And I think I'm stronger than that mentally. I'm very calm. I take Camex.
Coach, what was the technical reasonings behind demoting Coach Arthur's one and keeping Dylan Shepherd in this current setup?
No, I didn't make those decisions, so I'm not able to reply to those decisions. Okay?
You know, Coach, I mean, you know, you speak about you one of the most calmest coaches because of your experience, and you know, there's a lot of young players now going into the derby that might be nervous. What's your messages to those young players in camp to try and help them remain calm?
I always say, and like I said, I've had players at 15 play Champions League games and score goals and keep you in the Champions League. That's playing against a complete different nation and score goals. Khorisang, Kabamelo Khorisang, he scored the goal, if you remember. Gift Links played, you know what I'm saying? I had a few others as well, but the young ones at Chiefs, just for them to train on the first team pitch is already a lot of pressure for them. So there's no talk to them about being calm. It's about just watching them and making sure that they train properly, and they have it, because we are all entertainers, and football players are bigger entertainers than us. So they have to go out there and they have to play. I don't give them special treatment, because when you give them special treatment, the generation of today might do something else. So they got to play football and enjoy themselves.
Coach.
Thank you, guys. Take your things, please.
Yeah, otherwise we're going to hear.
Huh?